love the chase and the hunt, and I set the
Hello and welcome to the Digital Embellishment Show. Today we're going to be speaking with a good friend of mine, Joe DeBoy from NAPCO. Joe, how are you?
Good, kid. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Love talking to you about this stuff. You're always out there on the ground in the field and really trying to have that ground level discussion from a sales standpoint on selling digital embellishments. And I would first like to congratulate you. From what I understand, that you have a new title. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. I just got promoted last week to VP of Sales for NAPCO USA. Rocky and
That's
Profit
awesome.
brought me down, talked to me, and got some big stuff going on in the future. And they want me to be a part of it, so I'm really excited about it, and I'm super stoked and looking forward to this next chapter in my career.
That's awesome. So yeah, I love Rob and I love Rocky, his dad. Really, I think that's the foundation of what good family business, the way that they're building us. Tell us a little bit about NAPCO. A lot of people think NAPCO, they get it confused, I'm guessing, with there's another NAPCO in the printing industry, which is more on the media side. Tell us more about your
Yeah,
NAPCO.
NAPCO USA is basically a custom packaging company, right? We do mostly custom rigid, which is the harder boxes like the Apple iPhone style boxes, all custom made for your product. You give us the product, we'll build around it. We've got structural engineers. We have printing capabilities. We have digital embellishment capabilities, die cutting, gluing, all the finishing capabilities when it comes to packaging. So custom packaging is where we're at, and we're growing that with a new short run program we're launching in January for the rigid industry. So it's a lot of exciting stuff going on. We're putting a new addition on the building, and it's just a lot of cool stuff.
So that's a fun new market, I'm guessing. Digital packaging, short run packaging. Usually when most people think packaging, I think Walmart and I think Costco and I think just really large runs. Tell me about this new digital packaging market that's really starting to
Yeah,
ignite.
digital rigid. We're getting so much demand for these smaller brands looking for rigid box, and they're paying an arm and a leg for them because they have to order so many. And with ordering so many, they got obsolescence, they got just throwing away stuff 6 months down the road. Then they're sourcing a lot of stuff from China because of the cheaper pricing. But that leads to longer lead times and all kind of logistic nightmares when you're sourcing from overseas. But we see the demand, and we are building a new short run rigid box making program. We got new equipment coming in, new digital print equipment, new digital box making, rigid box making equipment, new table cutters, all kind of new stuff just to meet up with that demand. And we're finding that as we're getting this message out, more and more people are getting super excited about it.
Wow. So tell me, because I think that's one of the big things that we're really interested in is how do you sell digital embellishment to a brand when you're out there? How does that conversation go? You get the meeting, you sit down, and then you have probably this beautiful bag of samples that I don't know, do you dump it on the, walk us through like a typical sales call when you're out there pitching embellishments and what are the reactions and how are you getting success?
There, sometimes you just go out there, you do your pitch, and you show them all these beautiful foil things, and say, "Look, you're a small brand, but you can compete with the big brands now. These big brands, they've figured it out. They know that embellishment is a big part of their sales revenue. So now the smaller brands can compete because they can put that digital embellishment on their packaging and sit side by side on the shelf and still get the same attention. That's all about getting that customer's attention, driving them to pick up that package off the shelf. So if you can put them in the same, I guess, category with some of these larger brands when it comes to embellishment packaging, they can compete now, and I use that a lot. But sometimes the
Hmm.
customer will come to us and say, this is what we have, this is what we need, this is what we're looking for. What can you do? What solution can you provide? And look, basically, we are solutions providers, right? That's all we do is
Hmm.
provide a solution for our customers. So they'll ask us to re-engineer a package or redesign it or restructure it to see if there's something that we can pull that work out of Asia, pull that work out of China, and still get them a product that works for them, and maybe add a digital embellishment to it because you're getting it cheaper and you're getting it quicker, that type of stuff.
So I guess you're a lot of the pitches around you can compete with the big boys from a visual standpoint without having to break the bank because now you can actually do short runs. And you and I talk all the time about this stuff. And I guess what we're seeing, we talked about this the other day offline. Um, I remember like 20, 30 years ago, like when digital printing first came out, the big conversation was like, hey man, You don't need 10,000 brochures to print because, if something goes wrong and you have to actually throw those 10,000 out because you've changed a spec, or you're literally going to go through each brochure and put a sticker. It's seeming like the same thing is now happening to packaging. You don't need to print 10,000 boxes. You could print 500 boxes a week
Right.
if you need, and not have to invest in that big stock. Is that something you're also seeing? Is that kind of like a
Yeah,
attractive point
absolutely.
for NAPCO?
Obsolescence is a big deal when people have to order a minimum of 10,000 or 20,000, and they only need realistically 4 or 5. And then 9 months into it, they're throwing it into the garbage or the recycling because an ingredient changed or something's changed on that package. They can't use it anymore. They want to rebrand or things of that nature. But yeah, obsolescence is a big deal. And digital embellishment, if it's just like digital print. If anything changes, you don't have to worry about tooling. It's basically print on demand. It's just a extension of digital print.
So tell me, what are some of the cool brands that you're working with right now that have made the switch into digital embellishment? Is there anybody on the top of your mind
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
allowed
You
to
know
tell
what?
us
Let me
about?
grab some samples out of my closet right here in the sample closet. Hold on a sec.
Okay. Every good salesperson has a closet full of samples. I know I'm looking at literally 10 boxes worth right now in the
That
back of my
that
office.
is correct. Look, we a couple years ago when we first launched our digital embellishment program, a company we've been working with for years came to us and said, "Look, this is what we have. We need a solution. What can you do for us?" And the name of the company is Savannah Bee Company, and they're a honey-based beauty products. They also do honey, a lot of really cool honey. They got like 14 stores. They got an online store, Savannah Bee Company, just fantastic products. I've been to a couple of their stores. They have two right here in the Myrtle Beach area that my wife and I go to all the time. And there's meat tastings. Anything honey related, these guys have it. So check out Savannah Bee. Pretty cool. Anyway,
Did you say
mead,
mead
yeah, it's honey
tasting?
based spirit. Tastings up there. And just don't drive when you're going up because it'll crush you. Uh, Anyway, they came to us and said, "Look, this is our current packaging. Okay, this is a rigid box, right? Rigid box. Got a nice hinged lid. It's a pretty nice box. Has its ingredients on the bottom, and it's wrapped in line. This is what we do. This is what we do all day, every day." And they came to us and said, "What can you do?" And we went to some prototyping, and we did some white sampling and showed them a couple of different things. And then we showed them this. This is what they have now. Okay. So this is
Ooh, look at
okay.
that.
Look, it's a rigid box. It's rigid, but it's also folding carton. So you have the rigid base that's wrapped in line, and then you have the folding carton that has the digital foil, 3 sides. Okay. So they came to us and said, it has to stack. It has to be stackable. In the retail world, we want to stack. It has to be structurally sound to stack, and we want to bring it back to the U.S. And then you've got
But-
9-10 months lead time, and then guess what? An ingredient changes on the bottom in the package. You might as well throw it in the garbage. Here's the solution. This we mass produce. This we digitally print and digital embellish. And this is why the ingredients change. You only got to produce. You only have to reproduce this. This you can hold on to as long as you want because this is basically generic. And they have 4 different flavors. I don't want to say flavor. This is body butter, but it's all digital embellished. And then they have 2 different sizes. So they have the small boxes and they have the large boxes. So again, all digitally printed and digitally embellished on our MGI. So if you're a solutions provider and you go to them and say, what would you rather have? Come on, tell me about it. If you saw this on the shelf compared to this, I'd pick this one up 9 every day of the week and twice on Sundays. I'd pick this box up first and put it in my hand. And that's
Buddy, you're preaching to the
yeah,
choir
that's
on that one. What was their reaction when you first showed them the prototype? Like when you first unveiled it to them? Walk me through like the reactions that you saw on their faces when they saw the gold. Like
a great little question there because we took them 4 or 5 different prototypes prior to that one. And this was the last resort. We're like, how about this one? And they picked it up and they're like, huh, this could really work. And then their creative mind started going, right? We can put the ingredients on that one thing and we don't have to worry about the other thing. And then when we showed them the price point, and they're like, wow, we can add digital embellishment to this thing and still be price competitive to what we were getting in China. And we're getting it 4 or 5 months quicker. So it's a no-brainer for them. It was a no-brainer for them. And this is one of them great stories about rebranding of a package with digital embellishment.
Joe, so what you just mentioned is actually, I think, one of the hardest pieces of data anybody can get their hands on. And you just mentioned they went over to this new digitally embellished package. Now they can do it on demand. They can mass produce the structural part and they can on demand do the sleeve that goes on the outside on the folding carton. Tell me something. You just said that their sales increased.
Well,
Is that something that they share with you? Is that something that most of your clients will ever share what the actual reaction
well,
is from a sales standpoint?
part of the fact is they expanded their stores, right? They went from 11 stores to 14
Mm,
stores. So, of course, their sales are going to increase that route. But I don't know
mhm.
if they've ever really come back to me with data and tracked it per se.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're reordering more often, um, and then with the digital embellishment, if this blue one is a big seller and the yellow one's not, they can
Mm,
just come back and print this one. They don't have to print all
yeah.
this one as well. So that it takes this whole big rigid box out of, out of production. Just this is the way to go. So
That's so
I
cool.
guess the point I'm trying to get across, Kevin, is let your packaging people be the solutions provider. Get them in there early. Talk to them. See what they can offer you. Hey, I can't give you this, but I can give you that. And if I give you
Mm,
that, I can put digital embellishment as well. So
mm.
those kinds of things. And get them in there before you guys make any final decisions on which route you're going to take. And look, if they can't give you the right answer, look me up. I'll come give you. I'll give you an answer.
Joe, you're running a team of salespeople as well as VP. How hard is it for your salespeople to kind of wrap their heads around selling this stuff with the embellishment? Was it easy to do? Is it something that you have to work out on a consistent basis, or is it just that does it come natural? What are you seeing out there?
But anything new and exciting they can bring and put in front of a customer, they're all for it. If they can get their foot in the door
Mm,
and get in front of that customer, whether it's anything new, whether it's new software that we launched or whatever it might be,
mm.
anything new, the salespeople should be embracing it and taking it to their customers. So we don't have a problem with that. We've embraced it fully and we love everything about it. So we are full steam ahead with the digital embellishment on our folding carton as well as our rigid.
It sounds like it. Do you see, I'm just asking these questions, but do you see any demographic commonality? Meaning, like, does a certain group of people, when you go pitch it to them, are more receptive? Are younger people more receptive to this stuff versus older people? Do you see any kind of a commonality there with all the clients that you've been visiting?
I've never really looked into that deeply, Kevin. That's a great question. But you look at the packaging trends over the past few years, and you mentioned demographics and older people like the minimalization, the vintage packaging, that type of
Mhm.
thing. But the younger folks like that bling. They like that shine and
Yeah,
the color and all that cool stuff. No, I haven't really
sure.
dug deep into the demographics of that, but I would assume that the
Yeah.
younger group loves that.
It's funny because I've been asking that question to a lot of people lately. And usually it's funny. It ends up coming back down to sustainability. And I think a lot of the people who are successful selling digital embellishments are the ones who understand the impact on sustainability, meaning not having to do those long runs, the reduction in waste, the reduction in VOCs, and all that. Is that something that you've thought about bringing into your sales discussion with companies, specifically companies like Savannah Bee, which sounds like they're very eco friendly? Is that part of the talk
Yeah,
track or not
it
really?
is. It depends on who you're pitching to, but yeah, like Savannah Bee, they're huge with about the environment, right? The bees
Mm,
are their business throwing 30,000 of these away because an ingredient changed. It's
mm,
not very great. Unsustainable parts about that, but yeah, it can be a bigger deal for some companies, but it just depends on who you're talking to.
sure. All right, really important question, Joe. When are we going golfing again?
Tomorrow, let's go. Tomorrow morning.
All right. Listen, Joe, if somebody wants to get something done by NAPCO, what's the website? Where can they reach you and your team if they want to do a project with you?
You can certainly reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll hop right on. I will call you back and get in touch with you. It's at napcousa.com. We got two facilities, one in Sparta, North Carolina, one in Vincent, Alabama. We do folding carton, rigid binders, anything to do with the customized packaging. We can do it. Give me a shout.
Very cool. And you've won some awards, including recently. I think I was the America's Print Show. You won a big award there, and so congratulations on that.
We got some really cool new self promo pieces coming out in the coming months, and I'll share those with you guys when I get a
Ooh.
chance.
Looking forward to seeing it, my friend. Well, listen, thanks again for preaching the good word on embellishments out there, and we look forward to having you on regularly just to chat about all the cool stuff that you're seeing out there and all the challenges that you're able to overcome with your sales team. And I think it's important for us to all be aware of what's out there so that we can help grow the market and grow the pie for digital embellishment across the world, man.
Absolutely, anytime, my friend.
All right, well, listen, you take it easy, and I'll talk to you soon. Hopefully, we'll see you out on the golf course
real soon. Thanks.
All right, see ya.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded.